Okay, hey guys, welcome back. We are, I'm actually adjusting my lighting a little bit so I don't look like a crazy hot mess. So we're tuning in. You should see the makeshift setup I have for this live stream today. So I wanted to give you some insight or some backstory. If you guys joined me for the first failed botched attempt of this live stream chat, I actually set it up and I'm going to bring it back in here again. So let's see if I can actually get Nikki on here. Oh dear, Nikki. Let's see here. All right, so guest request. Let's do that. I'm going to add you. All right. So for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, my name is Erica Castner. And there you are.
Hello.
2 seconds, Nikki. So my name is Erica Castner. I'm a business and breakthrough coach that's dedicated to helping people, professionals especially, find more clients. And today I wanted to do a quick I don't want to say, well, we'll do like probably 20-25 minute chat, depending on how this goes today, with a good friend of mine. I met her about a year or so ago, who is just such an amazing, she's got such an amazing heart. She's got a lot of energy that she brings to the table. And what's fascinating about her story is, hey, Tim, how are you? What's fascinating about her story is that she has literally been on social media like just over a year. And what she's been do in a short amount of time in terms of interviewing people, talking to business owners, thought leaders, professionals across the land. She has really done an amazing job of just getting their story and showcasing their expertise in a really thoughtful way. And so I wanted to bring my good friend Nikki Reddington on today of Nikki's Network to chat about some best practices as we're getting out there to think about some publicity, let me say that again, some publicity opportunities to promote our expertise. So Nikki, welcome. Thank you so much for making the time today to be here.
Hi, Erica. Thank you so much. Wow, for that nice introduction. And can you, is this in the square? Am I all squared up?
We're all squared up. So
Okay.
Nikki, we were actually having some convo about before we on the pre-chat roll, we were talking about you know, how to set up our cameras and whatnot. It's like, I'm going to do it this way. Are you going to do it this way? So
It's great. It's great that, you know, we can work it out and figure it out together, because technical stuff is like, I'm so challenged, but hey, you know, gotta try it and, you know, and learn as we go, or otherwise, you don't get anything done.
Moving forward, that's what it's all about. While we're just waiting for other people to comment, Nikki, I'm actually going to share this. So people, that's the beautiful thing about, I guess, doing this from your phone. Now you can actually share it. Since I'm in my office, I can actually share it from my computer. So I'm going to be really obnoxious for a hot minute and share this. Oh, ta-da.
So what are you doing?
I'm sharing it from my computer. I'm sharing our video to my Facebook page, and that way we can get more people on board. So I'm going to do that really quick.
Well, okay, well, you can show me how to do that afterwards.
I know, right? Let's see. I can't talk and type at the same time. So, okay. So here's the deal. So you guys got queued up in the interview when I actually put the post, the preview post before this video, what you should be thinking about as it relates to getting publicity interviews to showcase your expertise. Now, Nikki is in the space of doing it via video. So Nikki, I want our audience to hear just a little bit about what made you, because I know you've only been on Facebook now. I mean, literally had a Facebook account, like what? I mean, it's been just over a year. What motivated you or inspired you to start Nikki's Network in this way?
Well, there's a lot to that, because I was wanting to go into business that I could work for myself. And I became a rep with a company, and I was told that I need to join Facebook because there's a lot of business owners on there, and it's a great way to reach a lot of people pretty much for free. So when I logged onto Facebook, I loved it. I mean, although I was able to connect with friends I haven't seen in like 30 years or more, but I also saw like thousands of business owners and entrepreneurs on there. So anyway, I was captivated every once in a while when I would see a video come through my stream. And I'm like, wow, that is really neat because I get to see that person, they're speaking, I see their personality, and I can really understand what their business is all about.
Mhm.
So I just started asking around other colleagues and friends that own businesses. And I'm like, I never see you guys, doing a video on Facebook. And they're like, oh my gosh, Nikki, we can never do that. I don't feel comfortable talking about myself. And talking in the biz on a phone, how do you do that, and where do you even start talking about a business? Because there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah, so that got me thinking. I'm like, well, why don't I just sit down with you and ask you some questions just like any client would?
Hmm.
So I just started sitting down with some friends and colleagues and having a conversation and just asking them some questions about their company or about their business. And it was more of a conversation, and they loved it. And I got a great feedback. It just seemed like it was more of a real type of situation, and that they felt at ease and comfortable of chatting like that rather than just speaking by themselves on the phone. And so anyway, so I got a lot of feedback on that. And what has made me really happy is a lot of my friends and colleagues who I started working with, like even if we've gone live, they've never gone live before ever. And now they're doing it on their own. Or some of my clients now are doing videos on their own. So which is really great, because sometimes it just takes, one or two times to get familiar with it. And anyway, so I'm happy to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, awesome. Well, LaShawn just joined us. Hey, LaShawn, how are you? And you know, Nikki, I was hearing in your thoughts just now, coming out of your brain and being spoken into our audience. It's so important to, like, a lot of people don't want to be shameless. They don't want to promote. Like, they know that they're talented, they have a lot of gifts to share. They're more about providing value to people, and they're not like, oh, I don't want to be promotional. But like I know that the only way business gets done is if people know who you are, right? So
That's right.
I think it's so cool and so powerful that you found a way to say, you know what, these business owners need help. They see it, but they're maybe reluctant to go in there and turn the camera in selfie mode and say, look at what I'm doing in my business.
Right.
And see those people online, like, and we can see right through them, right? Because those people are generally not like the authentic people. But like I know, that the only way people are going to get out there or get to know your product or service or get to know you as a brand is you have to talk about it on some level. And so it's cool that you're giving people an opportunity to just have a conversation and really talk about it from a place of, hey, you know what, I'm engaging in a conversation just like I would a client or just like a referral partner, and you're making it really easy. So I want to talk about, like, I'll actually get into that question in a minute, but how do you find, I think people, if they're picking up what we're putting down today, they're thinking, well, gosh, Nikki, how do you network both those business owners that are even on board with the idea? Like, how do you find your guest, or how do you acquire those tips on those people that want to do interviews with you? Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Yes, a lot of that has been organic. Since I've been interviewing just over a year ago, started my company, people on Facebook have been seeing my interviews with other business owners. And many of the people have reached out to me and said, I would like something like that too. Um, but also, I've been able to meet one amazing person after another. And once they've been interviewed, they would suggest or tell another one of their friends or colleagues who has a business to, check me out and, try, to, I basically suggest to work with me. So it's kind of been like that through Facebook.
Okay. Yeah, and I know you do a lot of other events too. Like, so it's funny, we didn't talk about this in the beginning. But Nikki today is in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm in Southwest Florida. So that's why if it wasn't, if we were in the same city, we probably would be doing this together
Right.
in the same room. But we were like, let's just try our chops at doing this this live stream thing and see if we can pull each other into to doing the live stream together in different states. But I know you do a lot of networking. So you do a lot of, or you go to a lot of events. Can you talk about some of the things that you have found in your experience as it relates to the networking that you're doing to grow your awareness?
Yes, well, I do go to different events, and I look for events on Facebook, um, and I put myself out there. If I see an event coming, I reach out to them and ask if they need social media coverage.
Mhm.
Um, I just, when I talk about when I'm at a networking event, let's say people ask me what I do, you go around the room or whatever. Um, I guess people like hearing what I'm doing because it's so unique.
Mhm.
And it seems like a lot of people have that aha moment. It's like, that is exactly me. Like, I don't feel right talking about myself and, talking in the biz and the whole thing. And I'm like, well, I don't either. And so that's just kind of how that starts. Because I feel like a lot of business owners I talk to, they're like, yeah, I need something like that, and that's just kind of how it's been going so far.
Mhm. Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. You're providing a service for people that need it. How many of us in business, like, and I don't want to like single anybody out. This is a big talking point last night at Expand Your Presence at the workshop we hosted in Fort Myers last night. And one of the big talking points was this whole element of you can be as nice as pie, but if you don't have a product or service that anybody wants, it's going to be very challenging for you to position that product or service into people that want to purchase it, right? And so, Nikki, I love how you found a way to you took the time to listen, you were observant, you were kind of watching some other conversations, how other people were showing up from a visibility standpoint, and then you were like, oh, you know what, I have a solution to solve that problem. I have an opportunity for people to get to share their story without them having to tell it themselves. I can kind of pull it out of them.
Right.
And then by default, you're creating brand awareness for yourself too. So it's this really cool way to collaborate and partner. So let's talk about some of the collaborations you've had so far, because it's impressive to see that you've been doing this now, what, just over a year?
Yes. I
Okay, okay.
started a company in January of 2017.
Okay, so a lot of people know that I'm going to put this out there for a hot minute. To those of you who are watching, who, especially if you've been doing something a year, a two, maybe you've only been doing it 6 months, I do not want that to be excuse for you to say, I can't do fill in the blank, because this woman right here, our guest today, she's like breaking those barriers, right? She's saying, you know what, look. And when I ask her this next question, I meant, what I'm going to be talking about here. She's taking, like, look, I'm doing this, I know I'm good at it, I know I'm working on it, I know I'm not perfect at it, but I'm working on it, I'm just plowing through it. Nikki has been able to already, in the short amount of time that she's been doing this, land some phenomenal interview opportunities. So do you want to talk about a couple special ones that you've had in the past, and maybe some ones that are coming up in the future for you?
Well, thank you. Just like we talked about earlier, I put myself out there. I kind of start with some of my friends that are influential in, maybe the Indianapolis area, that have been around and in their career a lot longer than I have. And I just love meeting people. And business owners, individuals, because we're all people. And I find people so fascinating because we're all so different. And with the business owners, that's why I ask so many questions, because I so love small business owners and entrepreneurs, because I understand the struggles, the blood, sweat, and tears, the great times, the everything like that. And that's I think, and there's so many small business owners in America. We kind of like make up America. But anyway, back to the point. Yeah, so I was at an event with a friend, and I've really never experienced a red carpet type of experience before. And so I went there with a friend, and I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun to do a Facebook Live on the red carpet. And I don't even know if I asked the film director. And it was his world premiere here in Indianapolis, but the they loved it. And I just started interviewing the actors and producers live on the red carpet on Facebook. And anyway, so then I was able to meet the president of the Heartland Film Festival. And anyway, so he said, I love social media. And he goes, I just moved here from San Diego and want to hear more about what you're doing. Well, so I arranged for an interview to interview him about the film festival to bring awareness to people that really didn't know a lot about and the significance of the Heartland Film Festival. So after I interviewed Craig Prater, then they asked me if I wanted to cover a couple of another small film festival, like a Bollywood type of film festival from India, and then the large film festival that they asked me to be a part of. It's a 10-day film festival in October, and I was able to do that. And my second red carpet experience, they wanted me to interview Rob Reiner. So here I am in a long line of media people, and I'm like, and beforehand I'm like, what am I going to ask him? What do I say? And I kind of put that out there with a few colleagues because I wanted to be different, because it seems like a lot of people are asked like the same kind of questions. And I'm like, I want to be different. I have my own network, so I can think out of the box and do what I want. And so anyway, so I asked Rob some very different questions that no one else was asking, and I could tell he loved it. And he gave me over like 3.5 minutes on the red carpet. And that's after he's talked to so many people, so many other people. But anyway.
I know how, I've seen those red carpet events. I just got back from City Summit a couple weeks ago, and I see that. I mean, you have just a few moments they're pushing those people through because, they've got to interview a lot of people in a short amount of time. And it's fascinating when you can actually think. So there's a couple points in that I kept hearing, and I want to just reiterate those because I want to understand where you're coming from on this. Number one, you were coming from a place of service and support first and foremost. So you reached out to that, that International Film Festival, Craig, right? Craig.
Yes.
Okay, so reaching out to them first, building a relationship with them first, understanding, adding value, saying, you know what, I want to help you promote this. I don't want anything from it. I just want to help you get the word out there. And they took you up on that invitation, and you got to build that relationship with them. So it opened up the door for you to have that red carpet opportunity. We talked about I've talked about this in other videos, y'all. There's the whole key of getting any opportunity is building that relationship first and foremost. So Nikki, your example of actually going out there and just saying, hey, how can I create a partnership with you? How can I help you do what you're doing right now? I want to support you. If you lead with that first, folks, if you have that intention of saying, how can I support somebody? I can guarantee you it's going to open up so many doors. And Nikki wasn't expecting it. She wasn't expecting to go have an opportunity to go interview Rob Reiner at some point. She just placed the service. And the other thing I was hearing, Nikki, and all that was, being prepared, so standing out, doing something not waiting until that moment to think, oh, what am I going to say? Being prepared, having those questions together. And even if you're watching this, y'all, and you're not asking questions, but let's say you're going to be interviewed, start thinking about what you would say ahead of time. Don't wing it. You can wing it, I think, when you get to a point where you've done it over 100 times, you know what I mean? Because you're used to it. But until you get to that place, don't wing it. Be prepared. And that's what I kept hearing from your comments, Nikki. All right, so what's new on what's here? Here's what I want to maybe dig into a little bit here because we just have a few more moments. But when you are our guests that are watching today are they're thinking about ways they can be more out there. They're probably seeking their own publicity opportunities to showcase their brand and tell their story and highlight their subject matter expertise. So what is maybe the biggest piece of advice you could give those people who are seeking those kinds of opportunities?
Well, first of all, it helps to get yourself out there on Facebook, social media, what have you. And if you can possibly do a video or make just something simple that has, just to represent yourself, that's very helpful. And I don't know, just go for it. Just do it. And not a lot of people are going to turn down to be promoted. I've never really had that happen, but yeah, I'd ask, like you said, I ask questions. What are your needs? What message do you want people to know? Or what do you want people to know about your company, your product, your service? And I just have a few questions before that and before I talk to them, just so that they know what I'm going to ask and that they're prepared as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I just ask questions.
Yeah, ask questions and have your questions ready. So like, one of the things that, and I alluded to this in the, there was the pre-post that I did prior to you and I hopping on the live stream today, but it's like, as a woman that has been featured on over 50 podcasts, television, radio, guest blogs. I mean, probably more than that if we count the guest blogs, like personally myself, those all started by building a relationship with somebody first. And then what was interesting was because I built that relationship with one person and I added such a tremendous value, I never really made it about me. Of course, I was talking about what I'm good at as it relates to business, but I never really gave that hard pitch. And that interviewer was like, I know other interviewers. So like, who can I introduce you to? And it was just a snowball effect, right? Because every time I was on somebody's show, they were like, at the end of that, they would be like, this is great. Like, who else can I introduce you to? So, and Nikki, I know you've done that in the past too. I know you and I have done that for each other. Like, who can I introduce you to? And it's so powerful because that does expand our network. It expands our presence because if we can provide value, people are going to glob onto that. So many people are pitchosauruses. I mean, there's so many people that are saying, buy my product, buy my service, buy. If you can come from a place of value and your interviewer knows that, your interviewer knows a lot of other people, just like Nikki. She knows a lot of people, and in the amount of time that she's been doing this in her business, she's been able to build this network. And so kudos to you, Nikki, for just getting after it, not letting the time aspect stop you, just getting out there and doing what you got to do in order to move through it and get those opportunities to rock and roll. Where can people learn more about you and connect with you outside of the space of this interview today?
Well, the main way too is through my Facebook business page, which is Nikki's Network, NICKI, Nikki's Network. They can message me, or Nikki Reddington is my private page. Email me, Nikki's Network, the number 1 at gmail.com. So Nikki's Network 1 at gmail.com. My website is not up and running yet. That will eventually be nikkisnetwork.com. And I'm so excited to when that's going to be launched, because it's going to be even more ways. Hopefully I can help business owners get the word out about their businesses.
Yeah. It's going to be such a cool tool. I know you and I have had lots of chats about how powerful that tool is going to be when it's launched and ready to go. So what we'll do, folks, is we'll actually put Nikki's info into the comment section of this live stream today. So if you guys want to connect with her, she is predominantly in Indianapolis. She makes her way down to the Southwest Florida market, which I'm so excited about. But obviously, we are doing this in 2 different states today. So connect with Nikki virtually and learn more about how can utilize Nikki's services in terms of helping your brand get out there into other markets. So again, Nikki, thank you so much for making the time out of your busy day to hang out with our peeps. You rock, my friend.
Thank you, Erica, so much. You rock too. And I'm glad that we were able to do this together on Facebook Live, because this is, new territory for us. And it's really cool that you made it happen. So
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you were able to make it happen. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody in Facebook land. Thanks, LaShawn. Thanks, Lourdes. Thanks, Malia, for joining us. Allie, thanks for joining us too. You guys rock. Take care.
thank you, Erica. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.